Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and I'm excited to have Preston Soto of the Elegant Oxford here at the Kirby Allison offices today. Preston, hey, thank you so much for coming to Dallas and joining us.
I'm so happy to be here.
You know, I'm sure everyone knows Preston Soto and his channel, Elegant Oxford. You know, one of the other great shoe shine channels on YouTube.
I appreciate that.
And another thing that we have in common is our enjoyment of really renovating and restoring old shoes, right? So you've got your $15 thrift store challenge. We've got our $50 eBay challenge.
That's right.
And you actually have customers that will send you shoes, donate them to you.
That's right.
And you kind of have a little side charity that you run where you'll restore them and then give them away, right?
Absolutely. I get a lot of shoes that no longer have a home, so I restore them and I find people who are in need, like veterans, students graduating from high school, and I give them a pair if they need one.
Yeah, it's amazing just, I mean, how much of a difference just a well-shined pair of shoes
Absolutely,
can make.
yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, we give a lot of attention to shoes, you know, on our channel and on your channel.
Right.
But you know, if you step back and look at the bigger context and purpose of that, it's really about just respecting oneself, respecting other people, and then really putting your best foot forward. And a well-shined pair of shoes really does make a difference in how people perceive you.
I totally agree with that, yeah. You'll get shoes that people will not take a second look at, and then you shine them and they look completely different.
Yeah.
I love that about shining shoes.
Yeah. So we have an old, worn-out pair of Graysons. We actually bought these on eBay for less than $50. And so I was thinking today, since we have, you know, you here with us,
Right.
you know, that we would go through a restoration of these shoes.
I'm so excited to start these, yeah. These are going to look fantastic when they're done.
So these are a burgundy, and I know that's one of your favorite colors.
It is one of my favorite
So I
colors.
look forward to kind of seeing your magic on this.
Oh, I'm really excited. I can't wait.
Since you're here, why don't we head into the warehouse and grab some stuff to use on these shoes?
That sounds great.
All right, awesome. I'm Kirby Allison, and I love helping the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. Join me as we explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Here we are, Hanger Project Warehouse. I say it's the best men's clothing store you have in Dallas that nobody knows about. So let's go shopping for some product to use on these shoes. So I guess first things first, we've got a burgundy shoe, but one of the things I really appreciate about your channel is you're very experimental with your polished colors.
Yeah.
So what would you use on this shoe?
I get this question a lot. How do I match the cream perfectly with my shoe? The truth is there's no perfect match.
Yeah.
Depending on what color you want to accentuate, you can use a different colored cream. So if you want to bring out the purple and burgundy tones, you can use a color like Bordeaux. But if you want to bring out the red, the brighter tones, you can use something like Hermes Red.
Okay.
And I love Hermes Red. I love bringing out those red tones. It really makes the shoe look fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's grab some Hermes Red then. So would you start with the cream polish then?
No, I'd actually start with a leather lotion type, maybe Renovateur would be perfect for that.
Renovateur, we've got plenty of
There we
Renovateur. Here we go.
That is awesome.
Okay, and then, you know, just kind of walk me through, I guess, you know, any cleaning or anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna need, actually, I'm gonna need Renomat.
Renomat. Okay.
Renomat.
So there we go, Renomat.
That's gonna work great. Just to get the old polish off.
Yeah.
Make sure the shoe looks clean and presentable before we get the cream.
And you were saying with Allen Edmonds, you really enjoy using a little bit of kind of a heavy-duty cleaner to begin with.
Yeah, I do. I like taking off a lot of the old polish, a lot of the old grime and the dirt. 'Cause shoes get really dirty. People don't realize that the shoes can get really grimy.
Yeah. Now, will you clean a pair of shoes with something like the Renomat every single time you shine them?
No, maybe for the first time,
Okay.
or if the shoe is in really bad shape, I'll use something like
Okay.
Renomat.
What about new shoes, like straight from the factory Allen Edmonds?
Only if the owner wants me to remove the factory finish and just do just cream polish on the top, I can do that as well.
Okay. Waxes, we get plenty of waxes.
Yeah, okay, so for waxes, you can use a burgundy or a mahogany type color, and I usually use a mixture of both.
Okay, well we've got, that's mahogany.
This is mahogany. This actually works really well. I know there's a little tiny bit of amber in here, but when you mix it together, it looks really nice, so I usually use mahogany. That's a good color.
That's one of the things I love about non-black shoes.
Yeah,
you can really have fun with the different colors and the way you accent the patina.
Yeah.
And just with polish, I know you do a lot of dyeing, but if someone at home isn't comfortable using leather dyes, I mean, you can really achieve the same effect for all intents and purposes just with polish.
Yeah, dyes are permanent, and you really can't fix that easily, so stick with creams if you're not comfortable with dyes, permanent dyes.
Okay.
That's definitely a good
What
idea.
about a little bit of a high shine? Should we try to bring them up with maybe some mirror gloss?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. We might not go for a full mirror shine, but a high shine would be a good idea as well.
Okay, what color would you use for mirror shine?
Since it doesn't have a lot of pigment, I think brown would be fine.
Brown?
or neutral. Either would be fine.
Neutral. Here's the neutral mirror glass. Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
And then also there's some scuffing on those shoes.
Right. So we do have a little bit of scuffing and a little bit
deep
of crack.
scuffing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty deep. So we're going to need something to repair that and to cover it up.
Okay. Renovating repair cream. I love this.
Great.
It works wonders.
That would be fine.
And so with scuffing, I mean, minor scuffing, you can really just use a cream polish, right?
I like Medal d'Or a lot because it really penetrates the leather really well. I've seen it and showed it in a couple of my videos. A scratch like that will get covered and will get taken care of really easily. So I'll actually show that when I shine the shoe. But stuff like this is no problem. It's really when you get a scratch that's pretty heavy like that.
Yeah. Like a gouge almost.
A gouge, yeah. It looks like a piece of leather was chipped off.
Yeah.
So we're going to need something to repair that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. Where are we? So we've got our wax, we've got our cream, we've got some Renovator, our Renomat, our repair cream. Any brushes?
Yeah, we're going to need some brushes. I like the...
So we've got a large assortment of brushes. Horsehair, pig bristle, yak hair.
Those are all fine. I think horsehair will be perfect for this.
Okay, great. So we'll actually, for something like this, we would probably use a darker bristled.
Right, that'd be a good idea.
You know, just again, and people ask, you know, like, why do you need two colors of horsehair? Do you have multiple colored brushes?
Not personally, but
okay.
I know that it's a good idea to do.
Yeah.
So,
and the general idea here is just, you know, in order to prevent streaking of like a black polish on a light brown shoes, just to keep them separate.
Yep.
But the other thing is it's pretty easy to clean brushes just with a towel, right? So do you clean your brushes?
I do clean my brush here and there with a little bit of Dawn soap. So a little soap, a little dishwasher soap is perfect.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so let's see what else. So we've got the mirror glass. We've got a high shine water dispenser in the office that we'll use.
This is great.
And then
I'm not going to need shoelaces, but I do need a rubber band.
Okay. Well, here are some shoelaces. So we'll just take the bundle. I know you're a big fan of these shoelaces, so we'll give you some shoelaces for coming out to visit us.
Thank you so much.
And we'll cannibalize the rubber bands on these.
That'll work perfectly, yeah.
Anything else? We've got shoelaces.
We need shoe trees.
Shoe trees.
Shoe trees are one of the most important part of a restoration. We have some right here on the side.
Great. And so what size? That is a 12.
12Bs.
Okay, so this is a large. Right.
Yeah, large will work fine.
Okay.
Shoe trees are really important for when you're cleaning a shoe because you're going to be pressing down with a little bit of pressure, so you want the shoe to remain strong and sturdy and in right shape.
Yeah.
So shoe trees are definitely important.
And what about creasing? I mean, does it help with creasing?
It does.
How do you approach that? I mean, because a lot of the shoes you're working with, if it's from a thrift store, it probably hasn't been really maintained with a pair of shoe trees in the closet.
That's true.
Right, so you're going to end up with a lot of creasing.
Right. What I found is that when you use a good shoe tree, and then there's moisture from the shoe cream, the cleaners, that kind of softens the leather, and it kind of doesn't dry, but it relaxes it, and it gets around the shoe tree, and then it starts to look much better.
And I've also seen people apply a little bit of hot steam to the leather.
I've never heard of that, but that sounds like that would work as well.
To kind of relax the leather.
Right, yeah.
And then actually Carmina in New York, they have a small little iron that they'll actually kind of iron out some of the creases also.
That sounds like that would be a good idea, and that would actually work.
Okay, and since we're restoring these shoes, why don't we'll throw in a pair of shoe bags for these for whoever we send these to.
Right, that's going to be a good idea.
And then anything else?
I can't even think of anything else.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, well, let's here we go. Let's get started. This is going to be fun. We got our bucket of supplies. All right, so we've got all of our stuff, and
I'm going to get a little more comfortable.
So we're going to let you do the work here. This will be the first time someone other than me has shined a pair of shoes.
That's so exciting.
I guess at this
I'm
table,
honored.
other than a Shoe Shine Sunday.
Okay, put this thing on.
All right, so here we are, Preston. We've got you all seated up. You
ready.
Put on the Shine apron.
There we go.
That's actually my secret trick right there.
Is it?
No, not
then
really.
I'm going to shine this pair really well.
So, all right. Well, we've kind of got everything that you said you needed. So let's work some magic for me.
Okay. So I think we're going to start with some shoe trees. That's probably where we should go. These are the left side right here. Let's see. Got a little pinch there. All right.
And so generally you like your shoe trees tight.
I do. I like my shoe trees tight. Not too tight that they'll misshape the shoe, but just tight enough where we can get a good fill in
I bet
there.
you we can get this in. With these split-toe shoe trees, sometimes you'll keep it together and then I'll push it in before loading the spring.
That's right. It's a good idea.
Because then it doesn't get in as far.
You know what? You're right. I feel a little tighter here. So that's.
But I know that you actually have a really special pair of shoe trees your father thrifted for you.
Yeah, I do. They're old school.
It's not
vintage.
a split toe, so this is probably a new problem for you.
Here we go. That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to start using a little bit of Renovateur on this tassel. Here we go. And just put a tiny bit with my finger here. That's maybe a little too much. Just to get it moisturized like that. That's perfect. So the tassel's not out of shape. And we'll put a little rubber band on there. This just looks fine right here.
And this is to help just kind of retrain that tassel to be straight.
That's a great way of
You've
saying
got a
that.
stray,
yeah, we
stray
do.
strand.
We got a little stray. We want to pull the old polish off, the old dirt, the old grime. So I'm going to use a little brush and just get all the old stuff off here.
Yeah, those are dusty. Look at those.
Yeah, they're pretty dusty, so there we go. That's a good one. Let's do the next one. Here we go. Okay, these are good. And now we're going to use the Reno mat to get all that old polish off. So I get a lot of questions on how I tie my shine rag around my fingers. So I just do that, put it around my fingers like that, hold it tight and twist.
And you like to use a big rag.
I do.
These are old T-shirts?
They are old T-shirts. I like using a rectangular long rag. That always works great for me. So let's get some of this open. Okay, just a little bit on here.
Yeah, strong stuff.
It is strong. You can smell it.
And so this is going to take off kind of anything that's been put on top of the leather.
Right, right. Especially dirt and grime you really can't see, but a lot of the old polish is going to come off. So you can see that right there. Yeah, it's coming.
Do you ever shampoo with like a leather cleaning soap and a big horsehair dauber?
Saddle soap I do use when the shoe is soiled or dirty, but I don't want to use anything strong like Reno mat.
Okay.
I'll just shampoo and give a good cleaning like that.
How long will you let the shoes dry? You kind of set them off and come back to them the next day?
Yeah, I've done that before, or sometimes I just wait 5. I do the shoe shine method, and I just
go straight through.
Go straight through.
Yeah.
So that's probably just fine if you don't have time. Okay, I think we're good here. Doing fine. Getting all that old polish off. Make sure to get it under the tassel. There's always a nasty piece of dirt here, I've noticed, so it's important to get that old stuff at the bottom off right here. Yeah, this is strong, but I'm used to acetone.
Does the trick.
Yeah, this is actually really great.
Yeah, this is the Reno mat is supposed to be a little bit safer on the dye.
Sure.
Because acetone, if you go heavy on acetone, you can actually remove the alcohol-based leather dye.
Right.
And almost strip the shoe.
Yeah, you can actually.
Then you have to re-dye it.
Yeah, you can do a little damage. I always tell people, and I had a little warning on one of my videos, that if they're going to use acetone, they need to be careful because they can ruin their shoes if they're not careful and remove the old factory finish. And
less is more.
Yeah, you got to be really careful and cautious. And I always tell people, just take your time and don't go too fast.
Yeah. And you're never going to get it so that you stop pulling off pigment from your chamois.
Right.
So people think that, that because the burgundy polish is coming off onto the chamois that they need to use it more.
Right.
And then you end up getting to a point where you've just taken all the finish off the shoe.
I've gotten there. I'm actually working on a pair right now that's white. The shoe looks white.
Really?
The guy just pulled everything off. And the video's like pale horse. I'm going to actually upload that soon, but it is really, really pale. So we have some nasty, looks like edge dressing they got on the shoe. So I'm going to just take that off real quick. Here we go. Now what I like to do, and I don't do this often, is I use my nail and just
really scrub it.
Yeah, scrub it out so all this. You did a great job. Looks like it got it off just fine. So you can also, on moccasin tassel loafers, there's actually a little bit of room, but I don't really worry about that too much because it's covered by this leather piece right here. Sometimes when you add pressure, the shoe's gonna get tossed to the side. Okay.
All right.
So you can see the difference there. This shoe's ready to clean, and this one's just got some old stuff to get off.
Yeah, the Reno mat's great too. Like if you had some guy at the airport shine your shoes, and he used some quality of polish you're not too sure about.
Sure, that's also
just pulls that off.
Yeah, that's a really good comment.
I call Reno mat the Drano of like shoe cleaner.
Yeah,
you don't use it every single time you shine a pair of shoes, but it's nice to use occasionally.
Yeah, it seems to be doing a fantastic job. This is really, really awesome here. So, circular motions.
Yeah, like hard, medium to firm pressure.
Yeah,
right?
sometimes I just like to move my finger around, just because the rag.
This is where it helps to have a big chamois.
That's true. Yeah. There we go. Let's keep going. I'm gonna use my nail here, kind of like you're scratching the leather, giving it a little scratch. Looks like it'll start coming off. Yeah, it's coming off. We're doing. Yeah, great. Just keep getting down there. Yeah. Yep, it's coming off nice, so a little bit more. Alrighty.
Yeah, so just a light clean.
Yeah, this is great. I think the shoes are ready for a good polish. And
Okay, so
now we're gonna just brush it all off and make sure it looks good. Do you have anything stiffer, like a pig bristle brush?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably work better.
Here we go, from earlier.
Perfect. I love how stiff the bristles are.
It's a totally different texture. I mean,
absolutely, and it really just gets
everyone
that good
needs
friction.
a set of horsehair brushes and pig bristle
Yeah,
brushes, Preston.
it really gets that friction going, and just pull. I usually just grab it like this, and then shine like that. So you don't want the tassels getting moved everywhere.
Yeah.
Because if these break, it's kind of a pain to replace them. I know a competent cobbler could probably do that.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not something I
Well,
like.
you'd have trouble having the match even if you could replace them.
That's right, yeah. So it's just a little bit of a pain. You want to make sure you take care of those. So that one looks good. Okay, and just hold the tassels. There we go. It's producing a little bit of a nice shine right there. You can see the Rhino mat alone.
It's amazing sometimes with just a little bit of brushing what you can do.
Oh, sure. So just get all that stuff off. And I always like to make sure I get in the welt right here, just to get a lot of dust gets in there, and then it's hard to get out. So
Do you ever use any like cream or wax polish to clean the welt?
I do. I use a little Q-tip, and I go whoop, right through there, and it gets some stuff out.
And you use it with a wax or a cream?
Renovator.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that a lot. It's there we go. Just make sure it's all good to go. Time for some Renovator. Now, I like using my fingers. I get a lot of comments. Why do you use your fingers? I use fingers because it's good for control. You can if you use a chamois, it usually end up getting more than you want.
Yeah.
And I found it really absorbs when you like apply pressure with your fingers,
Absolutely.
skin on skin. I'm getting a little bit of
Pigment off still.
little pigment off there, right there. Should be fine though. Okay.
And do you leave the Renovator on? Like, will you ever put the Renovator on and then leave it overnight and then brush on?
I do. If like I have another project, or if I just want to get the shoes, if they're really dry, I'll put a good amount on and leave them overnight, and that usually does the trick.
And will you use the Renovator on all your shoes that you polish?
Yes, I use it on every pair. It's like the most important thing I use, because it really,
It's like liquid gold.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm not kidding. It really is. It's the best conditioner I've ever found, no doubt. And I've used a lot of them. It's first time I used it, I opened it, and it smells like honey and milk. It's like a weird, really, really nice smell, and I just couldn't get enough of it.
And again, if you're rushed for time, you can just use the Renovator.
Yeah, I tell people who aren't really into high shines, hey, just use Renovator, get a jar, and you'll be able to shine all your shoes with it.
It has waxes.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a color. It's neutral, so you can do whatever you want with it. It's really, really a great option for pretty much everyone.
Do you have any trouble with leather darkening? Or?
I do. And usually it's not because of the Renovator, it's just part of the leather. It's the makeup of the leather, or just how the leather came from the factory, and it'll darken in some areas. But in reality, I tell people that's a true patina caused by the leather. It absorbs dye and polish in variation in different areas, and that's a kind of a true patina. So
just go with it.
Just go with it. I tell people it's marbling. Some people really love it. They ask for it. They tell me, I want that marbling effect. How do you get that marbling effect? I want it to look like wood, something really beautiful. And I tell them, well, some shoes just do it naturally. Some people pay for an artistic patina, and either is fine. But some people just kind of get lucky, and they get that variation in the leather, which I think looks really beautiful.
And all leather darkens a little bit whenever you apply polish as the leather saturates.
Yeah.
And then ultimately that should kind of rebound to its original color.
That's right. So I tell people, don't worry. They email me, and they're like, oh my gosh, my shoe darkened. I tell them, don't worry. It's just part of making sure the leather's hydrated. So it will darken a little bit, but it'll go back to normal after a while, and you'll be fine.
So what's like the worst mistake you've ever done on a pair of shoes? Like your biggest debacle? Or
I had a tin of it was a Kiwi tin back in the day, and it got really cracked, and I thought, I gotta glass it over, so I put it on my stove. just to heat it up, and it got too hot and it caught on fire. And I kind of panicked. It was one of these big ones, so it was like it was substantial. I mean, it was enough where it was hot, and I was like, uh-oh. So I tried everything. I even put like a little rag on it, and the rag started smoking. It wasn't working. And I was like, the house is gonna burn down. And then I got at the top of one of our pans, and I just put it over.
And you smothered it.
I smothered it. But in the moment, I panicked.
Yeah, it's just like, uh-oh.
I couldn't think straight. I was like, this is it. And the house smelled terrible. It smelled like oil, like tar. It was the worst.
Does your wife ever, I mean, what does she think of the smell? Is it?
She doesn't mind it at all.
Anymore?
No, she does. She's not one. Yeah, I'm sure if.
So it's one of the nice things about the Saphir polishes is that the aroma is nicer than.
It is. It smells really
nice. You know, it's not as petroleum based as other ordinary polishes.
Yeah, I get people telling me, I love how petroleum smells or petroleum based. I tell them, I don't know how you do that because I can't stand it. It smells really bad. I think we're good here. Let me just make sure. We do have a little bit of a scratch right here and a little bit of a ding. So we're going to have to use some renovating repair cream just to fill that out.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because some stuff you just can't get off with cream polish and a brush. And that looks like it's a little bit of a crack there.
Yeah.
Should be fine. So.
And this is like a putty. It kind of helps fill.
Yeah.
And a little bit of this goes a long way.
Yeah.
So we recommend not using this over large surface areas because it is like a resin.
Right.
But it really kind of helps fill.
Yeah, it's really good for small little repairs and little things like that. Yeah, it just fills it in. Well, maybe not. Just to...
You can put some. You can like actually fill it with the.
Right. There we go. I think this should be fine right here. I mean.
Helps a little bit.
It does help because if not, you'd have to get really in there and sand it down, and that might be a little more work than the average Joe is looking to do.
Yeah,
so.
The other problem with sanding is that inevitably you remove the finish.
Right.
And so then you have to re-dye the shoe.
Right.
And if you sand it, you can't fix that with cream. Like you've got to use a leather dye.
You got to do something serious. And sanding, you could inevitably sand down the pores in the leather, and that's kind of how they make.
It's like a corrected grain leather.
Yeah, like you might make your own version of corrected grain. Okay, now we're going to brush the Renovateur off. So this always gives a really nice shine. Yeah, here we go. It always looks really great.
It's really amazing just with the Renovateur what you can accomplish.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
Shoe care can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be.
That's right. It's easy to make it complicated if you're not careful. So you got to make sure that everything's looking great. Here, we just pull the tassels up. And areas like this will be filled in by the pigmented cream.
Yeah, and I tell people you really have to add pigment.
At some points
you can't get by just using neutral polishes.
Yeah, at some point you do need that pigment just to restore little areas and to make the shoe look vibrant again.
Yeah.
If not, you're going to be, it's going to look dull, kind of like a grayish pale color. You don't want that.
Well, just to even the finish, you're going to scuff your shoes. Like, you can't avoid it.
Right.
And the nice thing about Saphir is it has a higher concentration of pigments than normal cream polishes.
That's right.
And you can find good wax polishes out there, but the cream polishes, there's really nothing that comes even close to the Saphir.
Right, and I tell people that Saphir cream polish, it has a lot of pigment, and it shines really well, and it really gets into the leather. Like, you put it in, and it goes deep in.
Yeah, it's that hydration and the penetration in the leather.
And I haven't found one product that does all three things that well, so I keep sticking with it.
As the Pomadir cream polish?
Yep, it's just really, really fantastic. Okay, let's just get in there and get that shine in. Okay, see, like that, that's the variation in the leather right there. Mm-hmm. Some people won't be able to stand that, but it's part of the...
Yeah, just the difference in kind of color.
Yeah,
the
color.
Light spot right there.
Yeah, or the leather will absorb some pigment differently in some areas.
I find that variation in the leather was what creates dimension and beauty to the leather.
Right, character.
Because anyone could just paint a shoe a solid color,
right.
But it's a natural material.
Right.
And the way that natural material evolves and interacts with the polishes over time, creates dimensionality to the finish that at a certain point really becomes beautiful.
Right. Okay, now we're ready for the cream polish.
All right, so your Hermes red.
Right, I like to accentuate those red tones.
And so you were saying Hermes red's actually your favorite color?
It's my favorite color of all time. Bordeaux has a lot of purple in it.
Purple, it's very purple.
Yeah, it's really purple. And some people like purple, it's very regal. I just like that pop of red. And it's great stuff. Here we go. Alrighty, just love how red it is.
And again, you're tinting with the polish. It's not going to totally transform.
No. It's just a kiss, a little hint, but enough where you'll see a difference. So,
That's where I tell people to experiment. You're not going to ruin anything.
Right. Within reason.
Within reason.
Leather is really hard to mess up. So I tell people experiment with colors, add burgundy to dark brown, or just accentuate different ambers, different colors, and you're going to be happy.
What's the most number of polishes you've used on a single, like different colors?
3. I usually use black, Hermes red, and like a little bit of tan.
Okay.
Or a little bit of tobacco.
On like which finish?
On a brown shoe.
Okay.
Yeah. And over time, like I had a pair of shoes that were medium brown, and I used Hermes red for a long time, and they built this really nice, unique color. People would ask me, well, where'd you get that color? I said, I just kind of did that with polish. As you add layers, the shoe will get really, really shiny. It's going to look really nice. I just love how red it is.
Well, and it evolves over time.
It does.
Right? So you can't achieve in one sitting what you can achieve in,
over
5 or 6 or.
Yeah. Okay, so we're looking good.
Yeah, so you use a very light application of cream.
I do, but I rub it in hard with my fingers.
So you're using like firm pressure.
Yeah, I'm using firm pressure, and it gets in there really nice.
Yeah, because what you're trying to do in order to create that shine is really fill the pores.
Right.
You have to push it in there.
Yeah, you got to get it in there and massage it in, and it'll get in there. So use a tiny bit. A jar will last you a long time. So that's a good thing about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually prefer to use chamois versus daubers for that same reason.
Yeah.
Because one, it's more efficient with the polish, and you're able to control it more.
Right.
A dauber, really, I haven't used dauber to apply a polish in a long time.
Neither have I. I used to use these like sponge applicators, and they didn't work very well.
Yeah, and they'd soak up all this polish.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. Here we go.
How many applications of a cream polish will you use? Multiple?
One or 2. I usually don't go to 3, but you can if you want. But the third one usually comes after the first wear. And you just keep shining them that way, and they look really great. So just get a little bit up here. Yeah, I had a client ask me to dye their pair. I was like, do you want oxblood? He said, no, I want red. So I had to buy red dye.
Oh, really?
And they really like...
And you're like, don't know how to use this.
They really popped. I was like, wow. I thought they were going to look terrible. They actually looked really nice. And that's kind of where I fell in love with the burgundy, with the
Really?
red tones.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is still conservative red. This other pair I did was like red, but it still looked nice. Here we go.
Yeah, red with a little bit of black on top of it just creates a beautiful, rich mahogany, Merlot color.
I also tell people, look to nature for ideas of you see browns and ambers come together really nice. So I always tell people, look to nature. There's some good color combinations out there, like olive, well, not for shoes, but pairing shoes with clothing, olive green with browns and different types of reds.
Absolutely.
Really
or
looks
birds, wildlife.
Sure, that's another thing. So nature really can teach you a lot about how to combine colors. And just want to make sure I get that shade right there. Get it in that little tiny spot right there. Okay, we're good to go here. So you can always tell when the shoe's ready when it's not sticky anymore, and when you kind of start to rub it, it'll get a little shinier. You'll see a little bit of shine coming through, so the shoe's ready to buff.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll just get that. It's looking really nice now. You can see that tint of red, and it's looking really great. I'm going to pull these back here.
I've never used the Hermes red on my burgundy shoes.
Try it out sometimes, yeah.
The next time I shine them.
Yeah, if the shoe's too dark, like really, really dark purple, it may not work. It kind of has to be one of those shoes that's in between, and it'll look really nice. I'll just grab that here. There we go.
And this is the pig bristle brush?
This is the pig bristle brush. I like how firm it is. It really creates good friction, and the shine looks really nice. So, we're in good shape here. Just get that in the back. Yeah. I feel like those the Mexican boleros in the square. I don't know how they do it. They're just really going at it. And
so it's really amazing to see them work two brushes.
Yeah,
you know, and they click the handles together, and it's almost like a dance.
It is, and the guy was whistling to make it sound like it was shiny. It was really funny. He was like, really funny. Okay, I think we're good with that one here. So you can see the difference between.
Yeah, wow, yeah. I mean, just one coat of polish.
Yeah, just one coat, and you can add two, and then later
you know, the
on.
finish is really evening out. I mean, again, you've got to add pigment at some point.
Yeah.
And especially a new pair of shoes that doesn't have any waxes on that leather and in the pores. I mean, I can't emphasize enough how important it is for that first shine.
Yeah, I tell people, if you have a new pair of shoes, make sure you shine them before you wear them for the first time, because
people think that a new pair of shoes shouldn't need to be shined. And in fact, a new pair of shoes need to be shined the most. I mean, it's almost seasoning the leather.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and some shoes have been sitting, you know, at a store for maybe a month or two, and they just haven't been touched.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
Yeah, longer than that even. That's best case scenario. But you might get a pair that's been dried pretty dry.
Well, I mean, if you think about like how long that leather has been just kind of sitting there since it's been shipped from the tannery.
Exactly. So it needs a good shine.
So I love experimenting with brushes. So I want you to try two really unique brushes. I've got first, this is our mixed bristle finishing brush.
Oh, great.
So this is a really long length horsehair on just a medium brush, which I know you prefer.
Yeah.
And then we have a yak hair brush, which is what I call the rarest brush in the world. So I want you to try this and see what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's try this one out here.
Because you were using the pig bristle, which has a stiff bristle.
Right.
So this actually might do a better job buffing.
Yeah, this looks like it's doing a great job. Yeah.
And again, the longer the length of the bristle, the softer it is.
Right.
The more flex you get.
Yeah, the pig hair was really stiff. Yeah, this one's doing a great
job. The pig
job.
hair is great for cleaning. You know, if you have anything with broguing or a woven vamp, you know, it's really good to get in there. But for that final buff, whenever you're trying to really create that shine, and then this is really.
Try it on this shoe.
So this is Mongolian yak hair. Yak is it's like a domesticated cow.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really unique,
fantastic.
so it's incredibly thin. Look how dense that is.
Yeah, this is like a sheet. Really good.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, this is finishing it off really well.
So originally we called this a finishing brush, but really it's a great buffing brush.
It is. It's really fantastic. This is probably my new favorite brush right here.
Yep, well, we'll send it home with you.
Yeah, thank you. This is fantastic. Let me get that in there.
And then this, interestingly enough, we have it made at an Institute for the Blind. Because it has to be hand-pinned.
Wow.
So the people that make this, you know, it's kind of like a work-live program.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's fantastic. Okay, we're ready for some wax polish.
All right, let's add some wax. So this is a mahogany?
Yes, yeah, mahogany. It's got some amber in it, but it looks really nice when you combine it with Hermes red. I love opening a new tin. It's one of my favorite things to do. You see that? Oh, here we go.
And a little wax, a little...
And it looks just like glass
foil.
Right there. It's an omen of good things to come. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so gotta make sure you get it tied up.
I love this little foil thing.
Yeah, that is cool.
I don't know why, but it's a nice touch.
It is, it's nice. Okay, so I add one layer over the whole shoe just to protect it from droplets and dust. It's a really good idea to add one layer of wax. This is mostly, and it dries really quickly, so you can start brushing in like a minute or two. So we're good. This is what a standard shoe shine will be like at the airport. It's like wax and
that's it,
and a good brush to protect the shoe and to get it.
Yeah, which is nice for a quick shine, but it's not going to really nourish and condition the same way.
Yeah, it's not the same as a high mirror shine or anything like that. So that looks like it's doing good.
And they can get a pretty good mirror shine, but it doesn't persist like a proper mirror shine, right?
Right, right.
That's another benefit of the Saphir waxes is, again, because you know all of our waxes have such a high quality wax in it, like all of our creams or polishes, that that I find that the shine persists longer.
Right.
And can be really simply renewed just by buffing.
Sure.
Did you find that?
Yeah, that's what I found as well. It's really good for touch-ups. It doesn't require a lot. You can just brush it, or just, what I do is I'll spray a little bit of water on my brush, and then I'll go over it, and it just does wonders. It's really
that's you can actually spray the water onto the brush
yeah,
itself.
just a tiny little spritz, and you're good.
Yeah, we have a little water dispenser.
Yeah.
We've got the water dispenser here, the high shine one, but I like the spray bottle also.
A little spray.
I'll travel with it because if I'm pressing my shirts in a hotel room,
Yeah.
I don't want to use the water reservoir from inside the iron, so
Right.
I'll just spritz it
Yeah,
with.
that's actually a really good idea.
You never know what's in there.
Right. I actually had something happen today. It was a little bit of a little residue. I thought that was funny that you mentioned that. Okay, so just wait about a minute and we should be ready to go. So, what I do like about wax is that it dries a lot faster than cream. And it's ready to brush off.
I guess it's that higher solvent concentration.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going to evaporate faster.
Yeah, yeah.
And the wax does a really good job cleaning too because of that high solvent concentration.
Yeah, it's good for that as well.
All right, let's see how the yak hair brush works on the wax.
Okay, let's do it.
It's a really hard brush for us to source.
This is beautiful. It's really working really well.
Right, it's different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really dense, kind of pelt.
You're getting a good protective shine as well. It's a really good idea to use wax, and this is a really great brush. There we go. Get some friction on there. Sometimes you kind of got to go hard.
And are you applying pressure?
I am. So I'm kind of like pulling it off, kind of like
Okay.
I'm punishing it a little bit. Here you go. Just a little bit of pressure, not too much.
Will you work a really kind of fast?
Yeah, you kind of want to go fast like that.
Because it's the friction that is glissaging the waxes, right?
Yeah. You're kind of doing like a rocking motion. Like that. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I kind of found it works for me. Okay. We're good to, okay. Yeah, the high gloss shine, that's like the most impressive one. Everyone's like,
Yeah, I mean, that really
yeah,
sets you apart.
it does.
And it catches the eye. I mean, it's,
Yeah, I've had people stop me and say, wow, your shoes are really shiny. Tell them it's a mirror shine. And they're like,
thank you.
wow.
Yeah.
I tell them, yeah, it's really, tell them you should learn how to do it. It's so fun, and your shoes look,
It's gratifying, right? You feel
Yeah.
good about it afterwards.
yeah, and it shows that you have a level of competence and skill that the average person doesn't
Yeah.
have. It's really cool.
And whenever I walk into a room with a really well-shined pair of shoes, I feel more confident.
Right. It's a great feeling.
It's kind of like it's kind of like your suit of armor. It's,
Yeah.
going out into the world, it's a tough place.
Sure.
Look your best.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Okay. Okay, now we're ready for a high mirror shine.
All right. Well, there we go. Beautiful. This is just with one coat of cream polish, one coat of wax
One
polish.
coat of wax,
Some
that's
random
it.
tour.
Yeah, so that's all you can do at home. If you're in a hurry but your shoes need to look better, just do that.
Yeah.
And you'll look great.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I find myself reluctant to do a quick shine. Just 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have time. But
Right.
a quick cream polish, and a quick buff, or what I'll do is I'll take a high shine chamois and just a little bit of neutral Pat Deluxe
Yeah.
and just renew. Like if this, as long as this looks good, that's like 80%.
Right.
Right, of
that's
what
all it
people
takes.
notice, right? I mean, as
Yeah.
long as the rest of it's not terrible.
Absolutely.
And then the rest of it's really easy to take care of just with some cream polish and a brush.
Yeah, it's really simple. I think people overcomplicate it, but it really is that
Yeah.
simple.
I mean, the most time-consuming part of a shoe shine really is the mirror shine if you're going for a high gloss.
Absolutely. That's the one that gets people. Here
Well, here's
go.
the mirror gloss. So how do you
right.
use the mirror gloss and the Pat Deluxe together? Everyone
Okay.
kind of has their own
Alrighty,
approach,
so what I
right? So do
usually
you have
do-
your methodology
I do have
that you
my
can share?
method.
No trade secrets
No,
here.
no. I'm going to tell you what I do. So I like using Pat Deluxe. I really find that it's wet and has a lot of moisture, and I find that just helps me to mirror shine really quickly.
Okay.
Mirror gloss is a lot drier, and I use it interchangeably a little bit near the end, but
Okay.
I don't put it on first. I know some
Okay.
people do, and
Yeah.
it's really popular.
It's interesting. I ask because that's kind of the opposite of how I approach it. I
Yeah.
put the mirror gloss on first to create that foundation of hard waxes.
Yeah.
And then I kind of finish it or wet buff it
Yeah.
with the Pat Deluxe at the end.
And I could be wrong.
Well, I don't think there's a right answer.
Yeah, I might not be right, but Pat Deluxe it cut my mirror shines in half. It really,
Really?
yeah. It's always really been something I
That's
I enjoy
interesting.
doing.
Yeah.
So.
And that was whenever you were mirror shining, just using like a kiwi.
Yeah, using kiwi. I used it for
Even
about
their parade glass?
Yeah, I found that parade glass doesn't work as well as like the normal kiwi, but it works. It just took me a lot longer, and I could take orders.
So when did you
faster.
first discover Saphira? You said you had a client that sent it to you, I guess.
Yeah, I had a client who
Resisted for a while.
I really I fought it hard. I thought, oh man, it's just
Because it is
marketing.
expensive. It's
Yeah,
more
I thought
expensive.
it's just a story. But when I tried it the first time, I'm not kidding. I thought this really mirror shined so quickly, and it really shined really well. I was really impressed by it, and I haven't gone back. So yeah, I guess I'm here with that. But it really does work better than you think. That's what I always tell people. It's better than you think. So we're going to start off by putting a little bit of wax. So when you're doing high shine, you kind of want to avoid, you can see the creases on the shoe, the flex points of the shoe. So if you do a wax finish over this area, if you put too much wax, it'll crack when the person walks. So you kind of want to avoid these lines, these areas, and kind of focus to make the whole shoe shiny, but don't go overboard right here on these flex points. You'll get a lot of cracking. So that's an important thing here. So let's just start a little bit of, also, so what I like to do is just tap it, get a little bit of water, and just start again. And this can really feel monotonous, but it's just part of the experience of shining your shoes. So
Can't rush it.
can't rush it. Just a little bit of wax. Sometimes it's enough, just a little touch of wax, and then you start again, like that. You get a little bit of water, a drop, and you start again like that. So, and then what I like to do is I like using my breath, and it adds some moisture. I guess it's a spit shine, traditional breath moisture from
A little
your,
bit of hot moisture.
yeah, and it really like disperses evenly and perfectly. So I find that it really helps.
Because if you use too much water, you can end up oversaturating the leather. It turns and create a dark spot.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to use too much water. And I tell people that you need less than you think. When they ask me, how much water should I use? Just a little tiny little drop. Just start again. Okay. And here's the thing. Some shoes really cooperate and they will mirror shine really quickly. Some don't. I've spent an hour on a pair that just would not shine. So some shoes are really nice to you and they cooperate and they do really well. Some shoes you're going to struggle with. But it's okay. You can, as long as you are patient, you will get a mirror shine eventually. That's what I tell people. So.
Yeah, as long as it's an open pore, like natural full grain leather.
Yeah.
You know, it'll cooperate. It's the corrected grain stuff that you can't really do anything with.
Right, and
'Cause
that's
at that point it's practically plastic.
right, and it
It's a
doesn't absorb
synthetic
anything.
leather.
Yeah, unfortunately. And it was really popular in like the mid '90s. I don't know why. I always find corrected grain from shoes from the '90s, and it's tough because you can't really do anything with them. You're stuck just kind of not being able to shine them as well. Then at some point, I found that this bottom part kind of helps. It's like clean. It kind of helps bring out that mirror.
I kind of
shine.
roll the chamois
Yeah.
kind of back and forth on my fingers where I'll have, you know, the higher concentration of waxes on the fingertips, but then I'll buff with the cleaner part kind of across the mid finger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always kind of need a bigger chamois because I kind of use all parts of it. Here we go. Let's get back to that mirror shine.
All right, so we're going to just stop while we're ahead. There we go. So a little bit of teamwork to get both these up. But yeah, I think they look great. So there we go. We've done. So this is, you were saying this is a casual, so we're not gonna
Yeah.
like, go overboard.
Not
on
go
the
super
mirror shine.
gloss, but enough where it looks impressive.
And kind of the toe, kind of along the side, those hard areas of the shoe.
Right.
As an opportunity to kind of add a little bit of dimension with additional polish.
Sure.
All right, so what's next, Preston?
Okay, so we're just gonna remove the rubber band and see how the tassel's gonna just look a lot better. And there we go. That's
Really?
sufficient
So that's
right
kind of
there.
all it takes. A little bit of neutral polish or renovateur to help soften that leather.
Yeah, and just to
and a
get
rubber
it,
band.
get it a little straighter, get a little pressure on there, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Looking great.
Well, shoot. I mean, this is a new life on these shoes.
Yeah, ready to.
It's a 12B, which is kind of an odd size.
Right.
So there's really nothing to do in terms of
Right.
giving these to anyone. If you know anyone that needs them,
We'll
send them
there'll
to
probably someone out there who could use them, but
Well, Preston, hey, thank you so much for coming into
it's
our
my
offices,
pleasure.
and
Thanks for
I
having me.
enjoyed the opportunity to shine some shoes with you.
Yeah.
And if there's anything we ever do to help, let us know.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was so fun to come and shine tunes with you. It was awesome.
Yeah. Cheers. Hey, man. I
Thanks.
enjoyed this. Thank
Yeah.
you.